about certain things that possibly can do together in order to get us out of the woodworks. And again, we want to emphasize on behalf of the committee that this committee remains independent of the executive, and we remain to provide objective checks and balances to the governance structure of FAD and the use of the other resources. So again, we just want to emphasize that we remain very, very independent. Allow me at this point to thank management so very much, and also the team of our colleagues, the external auditors, for helping us in producing the report in time for our AGM not to be affected. And we remain available for clarification. President, the last comment I wanted to make was that our constitution does require that if there are issues of clarification that you want made during the AGM, that must be brought to the attention of the committee prior to the AGM. But so far, we don't seem to be getting any of those points. Now, either we are very clear, and that's the reason why the queries are stopped, or members are not taking interest to read our report. Please, when you get the report, if you've got some issues to raise the issues up so that the communication can be two ways. Because then we will feel that our report is being read and will be available to make an explanation that we want on the financials. But so far, there hasn't been any queries raised on the financials. That to us is some matter of concern in the positive and in the negative. Positively, we think, oh, that's good, at least it's sending some good vibes. But negatively, it makes us feel, are we engaging with the membership? So please read through the reports prior to the AGM and send us your field or your query. And this is the right forum in which those queries can be sent and will be available to explain. It doesn't matter what type of a question, will come alive and explain. Otherwise, let me thank you so very much for your privilege.
Thank you very much, Chairman, Auditor Compliance. Maybe we can give him another round of applause. So 11.1 has been dealt with, 11.2 dealt with, 11.3 dealt with. We are on 11.4, approval of the financials, and we straight away asked for, with the clarification made, we straight away asked for a proposal and seconder so that we can move to the next item. So proposal to adopt the financials. That side, Mike. Seconder.
Samantha Nyanda, Funds Government Representative and Proposal.
Seconder.
Mwendele Ramachani, Zambia School Sports Association, I second.
Thank you. That financials have been adopted. Let's give ourselves a big hand for adopting the financials. So quickly we move to the next agenda item, which is 11.5. And at this point, a pleasure to invite the head of finance of the Football Association of Zambia, Mr. Always wanted to come and present the budget for 2026. You can encourage him so that he is comfortable.
The president of the Football Association of Zambia, Mr. Ed Mwemba, the FIFA lead, Mr. David Fan, the executive committee members, councillors, Of course, not to forget fellow secretariat members of staff, as well as the regional secretaries. It is my pleasure to present to you the 2026 budget. The budget for the financial year ending 31st December 2026. So, for the financial year 2026, we have come with a proposal to raise a total of 216 million kwacha, and also a expenditure of 176 million kwacha. This will give us a surplus for the year of 39 million, but we have to take care of the deficit that we recorded in the year 2025 of 38.6 million. This will give us a surplus brought forward of 1 million kwacha. So we have come with a proposal to raise a total of 216 million and an expenditure of 176 million kwacha. Before I proceed, President, Executive Committee members, please allow me to highlight to the members of where and how we have performed in the past 15 years or so, from the year 2010 to 2025. Of course, trying to build up from where the Chairman Audit and Compliance Committee ended, he clearly indicated that while the cost of running the activities of the association have continued to increase, the income has more or less like remained static. As you can see from the screen, in the past 3 years or so, our costs have been around 180 million, on average 183 million for the past 3 years. So it clearly tells us that if we do not raise income of more than 200 million, again we are going to talk about a deficit. Because anyway, the fixtures of national teams and all the obligations that we have for the clubs and all the technical programs that we have are not going to be implemented. So it is important that all our plans, if we are to remain healthy financially, we need to raise income of more than 200 million, because our costs will remain or possibly slightly increase above 200 million. I thought I should highlight that. As you can see from 2010, the costs have increased. Where we are seated now, we spent 185 million. Outside that, of course, there are a few costs that the government came to support us. So generally, the costs for running the affairs of the Football Association of Zambia for a period of 12 months, they are around 200 million. I thought I should emphasize that point, Executive Committee members and the councillors, that if we don't raise revenue of more than 200 million, then we are going to be having cash flow challenges all the time. So, in terms of our budgeted income for the year 2026, of course, for the operations, we have planned to raise 214 million, and then for infrastructure, 1.9 million kwacha. The sources of income, as you can see, the bigger chunk comes from FIFA. This, of course, includes grants as well as other initiatives that the Executive Committee puts in place. Okay, thank you. Then a 6 million kwacha comes from MTN. As you are aware, we have a contract with MTN to fund the national team as well as the Zambia Premier League. So the 6 million is meant for the national team, the senior men's national team, while the other 6 million is accounted for by the Zambia Premier League. That's the funding for the league. Then from APSA, they run the competition, and we anticipate to raise 6.3 million for the tournament. And from funds generated activities, we anticipate 27.8 million from CAF. This includes grants as well as prize monies. We anticipate all things equal to raise 16 million. From the COPA, I'll try to discuss a little bit more about COPA further as we go in our deliberations. We anticipate for this year to raise 18.9 million, and with other prospective partners. I think building from what the president indicated from the committee that has been set up, we anticipate, of course, among others, to try and fund 57.8 million kwacha from those initiatives. So the biggest funder, of course, remains FIFA, but clearly we have got an obligation to make sure that most of the funding comes from internally generated activities that we have for the association. So that diagram just merely just shows us that the biggest stakeholder financially that we have for the year is FIFA at 8%. Then in terms of the income breakdown, we anticipate, or we have budgeted to raise from the regulatory income 7.9 million, from the grants 49 million, prize money 27.4 million, sponsorships, those are the current sponsors, 12.3 million, prospective sponsors 57.8 million, game revenue from the gate takings 10.3 million, COPA 18.9 million. Then also we have planned to apply for projects amounting to 22 million and other sources of 9.6 million kwacha. This totals to 216 million. So those are the income categories. We talk about regulatory income. These are fees that are paid by clubs, referees for registration. All the fines are accounted for under that category. So I indicated that we discuss a little bit more on the copper sales. So that graph, maybe just try to minimize a bit so that it shows everything. Thank you. Could you try to minimize a bit? Okay. So I thought we should remind ourselves on where we are coming from in terms of the revenue from the copper sales. Those who may remember, we started selling the copper in the year 2018, and we started at around 541,000 kwacha. The following year it was around 400,000 kwacha. In the next year it increased to 690,000. 2021 about 2.2 million. In 2022 it was about 2.7 million. 2023 it increased to 5.8. 2024 it went up again to 9 million kwacha. Unfortunately, in 2025, I think because of the challenges that we had in 2025, it reduced to 4 million. And so this gives us a total of 25 million kwacha that has been raised from the time we started selling the copper. And this year, with all the programs that have been put in place, we strongly feel that our product has been accepted in the market, we want to make copper a strong character in our financial strategy. So at the moment, these are the only products that we have. We just sell the replica jerseys, tracksuits, as well as a casual shirt, what most of our people call it African print. But going forward, we want to maximize the revenue by adding other merchandise that are even used by the national team, so that we put them up to the public, because the demand has been quite high. And thankfully, the executive committee resolved that we can go ahead and put most of these products and other more to our catalog and available to the market to sell. So these are some of the developments that you'll be seeing around copper. That's our catalog. So we are going to put most of these products on the market. In that slide, just shows us, I think, the partners in financial terms: FIFA, Copper, ABSA, CAF, and NTN. Okay, so in terms of expenditure, we talked about the income and categories and the sources. But in terms of the expenditure breakdown, we have planned to spend 30 million kwacha on our lower division clubs, as well as the provinces. Maybe I have to highlight a little bit there that that figure represents all the costs that are incurred in the provinces, as well as the referees' costs that we pay, and the grants that we pay to the clubs. So, as the president highlighted earlier on, we are very hopeful that possibly before beginning of the next season, at least we'll have started, I think, to start dismantling some of the debts that we are owing to the lower division. There are some innovations, I think, that the executive committee has put in place to make sure that we begin to make movements towards the equipment as well as the grants for the lower division. Then we have also planned to spend 46.9 million on women's national teams, 38.2 million on men's national teams. The difference normally is caused by the number of fixtures that we have, as well as different dynamics in terms of where the team is traveling. Hence the differences there between the women's national teams as well as the men's national teams. Futsal, 2.3 million. Administration, the 3 million. Governance, 7.8 million. Governance are all the AGMs that we hold in the provinces, as well as gatherings like this, and also to finance some of the meetings that are held by our respective committees. Technical programs, we have planned to spend 10.9 million. These are coaching courses that have been lined up, starting from CAF CB, and there is an ambitious program also to try and see if we can host a CAF A training as well. Then also a lot of innovations in terms of capacity building to the referees and other administrators. Then we're going to spend 4.8 on copper, infrastructure 1.930 million. That's our composition of our expenditure breakdown for the financial year 2026. That graph just highlights which areas we are spending more money on. If you can see, I think we are more on the women's national teams and men's national teams, and followed by provincial expenses. Governance, administration, they come in as well. Now, we indicated that we want to raise 216 million, and it is true, it is not an easy task. From the 216 million that we have planned to raise, we are more or less like guaranteed that we are going to raise 130 51 million kwacha. We are guaranteed with this. And then the other 65 million kwacha is where we have to put in a lot of efforts in order for us to meet that target. 65 million is what we are not guaranteed to raise. We have to put a lot of effort. That translates to 30% of the total budget. If you were to look at the amount, the guaranteed income of 151 million kwacha, it is consistent with what we have been raising. Last year we were about 148, the other year almost the same. And so we say that if we are to meet the operations of the association, we need income of more than 200 million kwacha. And with the support that we are going to get from the executive committee's initiatives to set up a committee for the commercial activities, as well as other partners that are going to come on board. Working together with everyone, we are very hopeful that we are going to meet the threshold of 216 million in 2026. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, I think the encouragement is still the same. That the budget financial was sent 21 days before this AGM, and all the convocation documents are sent for you to go through, and then be able to give us feedback so that we can prepare, give reactions, which again did not happen. So we'll proceed and ask for someone to propose the adoption of the budget and second.
Alex Ndola is away.
Crab for minutes and purposes.
Alex Ndola is away. I propose. A few acres.
Second down.
Habel Muzea, Shield United.
Thank you very much. So we proceed. We've concluded agenda item number 11. We are going to 12. 12 is vote on proposals for the amendments to the statutes, the standing order, and the electoral code. So amendment 12.1, amendment to the first statutes is none, because I think that President will speak about setting up constitutional review, where all constitutional matters will go there before they come to the council. So there will be no constitutional amendments until that process is done, because the stages that should follow before it comes to the council. One of them, I think, is the previous legal committee, but governance, we must look at the proposal before we bring them to the council. So 12.1, not applicable. 12.2, not applicable. 12.3, not applicable. We proceed. 13.0, discussion of proposals submitted by members. 13.1. So we received 3 proposals from the members. The first one came from ZISD, and the proposal is in the booklet. Who's got it there can guide on the page? Page 81. So in summary, the proposal is that the election of the ZPL chairman must be nullified by the council so that fresh elections can be called. And of course, firstly, this is a ZPL issue, but this is the case that is in court. So even if council discusses it and passes the decision, will the court case end? Will the court case end? No, so we can't discuss it here. President will give it from the legal background. I was just trying my best.
Thank you very much. You have ordered the proposal. This is a case that was already in court even before it came to power. An injunction, I think you are aware that even the Standard Mineral Board meetings have not been taking place. The ZPL chairman, Sakela Satongo, was injuncted. Obviously, under normal circumstances, we all want a situation where football districts are resolved within the football statute. Because FIFA itself, that is the standard, that's the world standard. But given the scenario that, of course, FAS is an institution with a perpetual succession, it's a going concern. We found this matter already in court, and we did not want to undermine the previous regime, because leadership is not about pointing fingers why certain things were not done. I think we have a duty to clap and respect those who were in office before us, and now do our level best to say how do we resolve these matters going forward. Unfortunately, in law there's a principle of sub judice, that a matter which is in court cannot be a subject matter of discussion before any assembly. Those of you who practice law, I don't want me as your president to start endangering the members of this August convocation and fall into the arena of breaching the provisions of section 116 of the Penal Code, chapter 87 of the Laws of Zion. For discussing this issue, we risk going into the arena of contempt of court. Permit me again, I know the official language under the Constitution is English, but I think lawyers know that contempt is twofold. There can be contempt fascia curia in the face of the court, contempt ex fascia curia. Out of the court. So I have a duty to protect everybody here. This matter is not right for discussion, this proposal, unfortunately, because it is an active matter in court. In some cases, it cannot be discussed. Secondly, we did make effort as executive committee to resolve this issue, because obviously it goes directly in violating or offending Article 15 of our Constitution. Be that as it may, we have to look at the bigger picture and say, people have got genuine grievances. You understand, I think, if you go into history, the historical perspective why maybe people opted to go to court. We don't want to point fingers and blame anyone. Two wrongs will never make a right. We have a duty to simplify the solution. And our executive constituted an ad hoc committee, which is under the chairmanship of our Vice President, Talengandu, to look into this issue. We had difficulties, of course, initially, but we are making progress. Then we went further, and we decided to incorporate senior citizens to help the ad hoc committee, which was looking into this matter. I think the members, the chairperson is Mr. Talengandu, other members in the exco committee who are looking at this matter to resolve it in an amicable fashion. We have chairperson, Central Province, Sangapore. We have Lusaka Province chairperson, Mr. Jordan Mariti, who was at exclusive so this morning, had to rush back to Lusaka for potential emergency. Then we also have chairperson for Copper Belt here, who is hosting us, Mr. 722, Patrick Job, one member in that committee. And lastly, I think it is the Women National Representative Kenya of the Secretary. I think that makes the five. Then we used another initiative to bring on board the former president of the Football Association of Zambia, Mr. Teddy Long, who is, I think, the chairperson of the side of that group. There's also Honorable Mansamula Green. There's Madam Violet Wine. There's also Mr. Francis Akwiti, former executive committee member and chairperson, Southern Province. Who is the last one? Oh, the former president of SARS again. I was reliably informed that he was aware of that. Dr. Michael Chichi, former president of SARS. These are the people who were sent to Europe. And I think the report, I saw a report was given, and I think what was resolved, going by those deliberations, is that the matter, since it is in court, we leave it at that. We tried, I think, to engage the parties. There are a few difficulties, and now I wish to simply report that we cannot discuss this matter here. It is a matter which is in court. Obviously, it's always advisable to resolve matter in an exclusive fashion outside court. And we hope that this might be achieved. So without the forest of words will not fill a bucket, I should simply say this matter cannot, this proposal cannot be discussed in this before this council, because the matter that is active in our honorable courts of competent jurisdiction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President, for helping the man. We proceed. Second proposal coming from the Northern Province, page 83. So, Northern Province have made a number of proposals, but if we go to them, then we'll notice that most of them are constitutional amendment proposals, which did not come straight here. They need to be analyzed somewhere before they come here, so that we have the legal face on them. So, if you look at motion number 1, and they say proposed constitutional amendments, they are proposing that the provincial general secretary becomes permanent, but those, I think, must be discussed before they come here. So on almost all the motions, I think that's what we can say. Motion number 2, they want a national youth chairperson, but that's constitutional also, you know. So it has to be discussed elsewhere. Motion number 3, they want a vice president in charge of administration. That's a big discussion. Motion number 4, they want to do institutionalize of grants and equipment as a policy issue. So, we can't discuss. It has to be deferred back to the special or committee or process that President will initiate. So we agree to defer as a council because it's here, so we have to propose as a couple of board motions so that we agree to defer as a council. Proposer for motion number 1. You are proposing. but we are please go ahead. Those are the proposals. They want to say something.
Thank you so much. I'm Martin, Vice Chairperson. I want to find out before the matter is fair, that when can we get feedback? Because those issues we face are of importance to us. When exactly do we get feedback?
Okay. So we'll get feedback in the soon as possible. But one of the feedback is the resolution for this meeting, which you hear yourself. So let's propose to defer. So you will hear the feedback. Can we give a mic here? No, before you propose, please. When you propose, you close. Yes, please, Mr. Fry, you want to say something? Oh, you want to propose? Okay, then you can second. Propose and second. Oh, Mr. Chiku. All of them. Okay, let's finish. Then we'll do all of them. The next one is a proposal from Zasa. Zasa, are you here, Zasa? Yeah. They want voting rights. Previously, they were voters, but we don't know what happened. They were kicked out. They want to be kicked in. Okay, I'm guided that. So which motion did we start with? ZISD. Can we adopt? Propose and say whether we have to do it this separate. For Northern Province, we'll do all the motions. Yeah. So let's start with ZASA. We have agreed to defer it, can be discussed here. Proposer? Oh, ZISD, sorry. ZISD. Proposer?
Mr. Israel, Vice Chairperson to the province.
Second down. Second down. Yeah, you may. Oh, then. Thank you. Thank you. All the Northern Province proposals put together. Proposal. Second down. Mr. John Fly. Are you, Mr. Perry? Are you under pressure? Yeah, so you know there are policemen outside. They bring them in. So Mr. Fly has seconded. So let's move on to ZASA now. Yeah, like I said, ZASA were part of the voters. We propose. Huh? You have a complaint. On which one? On the ZASA. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes, we don't have to write the name, other province representative. Looking at the precedents that has been set, that's also a constitutional matter that can be handled. I submit. Thank you.
So who's proposing now? We agree. It's a constitutional matter.
Thank you, GS. David Bolo, Northern Province Committee member. GS, I stand to propose that the matter be deferred. Thank you.
It's a protest proposal. that one is a protest proposal. We want to go together, everyone. Second.
Ndola, Vice Chair, Southern Province, I second.
Why are you laughing? Why are people laughing? Listen. President used some language. We got lost. That's also some language. So we move on. 13.2. Proposals, discussion of proposals submitted by executive committee within the first statutes. If you go to the booklet, there are two proposals, but I want to give you a background to the first proposal. So, when the president was campaigning to become first president, I think there was a petition on him by some people to say, well, if you want to become president, you have to change the system back to the old system. And I think you read him being interviewed and asked that question. His answer has always been he doesn't have the power. The power lies in the council. And this is the reason this motion is here. But of course, we just returned from the AGMs in all the provinces. The call is loud on the change of system. So as a council, we have a proposal to consider change of system from August to May back to March to November. But President, want to answer before we put it for a discussion? So let's discuss now. This is where we are discussing. The challenge we had is as we were going round, the provinces were demanding. But you cannot have a country where the one league is running a different system, the other one is running a different. I think it can't happen. Because these are connected, isn't it? The ZPO clubs are connected to the provisioning because of the playoffs. So we cannot have the province ending the league in November, ZPO is ending in May. How do you do promotions? How do we do the playoffs? So the decision must be uniform that what we agree should be for the entire Zambian leagues. So let's of course, if you see we've seen what is happening in the race. Someone was even telling me, no, we use 50 balls in a season because they get damaged by the rains. So let's discuss and get a resolution. Just discuss and
thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. I first of all want to comment for coming up with this brilliant proposal. And of course, once implemented, this is going to is the way that we run football in Zambia. But yes, I just wanted to seek your clarity before we propose for an adoption. The issue of increasing the numbers from 18 to 20.
That's a different item. We are dealing with the season now. We will come to the date. Let's agree on the season. Then we will now move to. There are two proposals.
Oh, I thought you combined the way we combined the others. I have to see chase. I'll come back to you.
Okay, can we have let's have
Thank you very much, Auntie Chase.
My name is Upenda Mashi, Kansas Dynamos Football Club. Let me just give a background of what happened when we traveled to Choma just in February. We barely played 15 minutes of the game, and there was so much rain. And that's after traveling about 900 kilometers from Solwezi to Choma. And we were subjected to play the game the following day. And we had to incur extra expense, apart from knowing that football is now very expensive. And for sure, if this motion is adopted, I believe that it's going to ease some of these burdens that teams are carrying right now. Therefore, from Kansashi Dynamos Football Club, we propose that this motion be adopted. Thank you.
So you haven't proposed, you are supporting the motion. So proposal is something. So let's go that side. Yeah.
Jonathan Makipo from Malawians. I think if we look at this season, if we take statistics of the terms which have been abandoned, I think they're a good number. And in most cases, the club which have traveled actually as costs. So I think this is a good proposal.
Let's go. No, we know what it means. So it's not yet a proposal. We are still getting views.
I think on my side, I think when I look at the whole issue, as our colleagues have said, you travel all the way from Choma, you go to Kansashi, then you play 70 minutes, it rains, then the referee says the game cannot proceed, the game will be played tomorrow. I'll tell you, if it's just Musa, then I will back on the wheel coming back because I would have money for another night. So if this motion will go through, it will save. Because when you are budgeting at the club officials, you don't budget that of the rates. You budget one night to maybe 2 or 3 nights. Exactly the way you do it. Exactly that's what you are going to present to the management, and they give you that money. But now, the rate comes and you have to spend another extra thing. And moreover, our stadiums, they are not yet good for this season. You can see the waters endangering our own players, playing in the water, which is not very good. I think I tried to maybe ask my friends here that we have to consider that we change the season in order it's better playing on a hard ground rather than playing in water and have an extra we can an extra cost for the 1 year. Thank you very much.
I want to give a different scenario from the ones that are talking about pushing against the following day. In the rainy season also, it's very difficult to maintain our stadiums. Even when it doesn't disturb the game, if it had rained previously, the pitches become very bad. So for us to maintain the stadium against becomes quite expensive. And you know, obviously, the way it is in Zambia, we're having quite a number of games Wednesday, weekend. So for the pitch to come back to a proper, level for play, it's very difficult. So I think we also propose that we do change to go to the OTA calendar.
Thank you very much. Who else? Lift your hands, please. You want to talk?
Thank you so much. And my comment is just to add on what has already been said. The change is very much welcome. We appreciate that. But that doesn't rule out the fact that we need to start working on improving our stadiums to be able to accommodate rain season games and things like that. So the fact that we are suggesting or proposing that this change be done, it doesn't eliminate the fact that we need to work on improving the status of our stadiums. as much as we would say playing in rain season is hectic, it's the same with our dry season, looking at a lot of climate changes that are taking place. Even in hot seasons, if you've noticed, in hard ground, we have a lot of injuries as well. So those are some of the aspects that we need to consider. We need to find a way to balance it on both ends. As much as this is much longer, we need to work on improving our stages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chief Minister, so we are concluding with this and then we will proceed. You can go ahead, sir.
I just want to add something. I'm one of the Rangers, right? I support the previous speakers, and I want to add something in the commercial part of it. If we are the game with green buffaloes that was suspended and the following day. So we hadn't sold a few tickets, and then there was a downfall, right? So the following day, what's happened? It was a zest came this. So we had a very big challenge to market that game. Because all the fans, supporters, they wanted to come in. Because we had a few sales that we got the previous day. So those that never bought tickets, they're the first ones that came. So it was almost pandemonium. So I support the idea that we critically look at this issue. But while I also support what the lady is saying, we need actually to invest more in infrastructure. And then also I want to look at the international calendar. I think the previous decision to change the current format was because we wanted to follow the international calendar. So how are we going to align ourselves to the international calendar? Thank you.
Okay, so maybe because if you are supporting, then you say the same thing. So if you are supporting, there's no point in speaking. At the end of the day, when you do your comments, this is different because when you do your comments, everyone will speak on this particular one. Everyone will speak on this particular one. So if you want to say what someone else has said, maybe we can save time. Okay, President wants to comment on the international calendar, then maybe we'll touch on other things. No, he wants to comment on the international calendar. It's just the immediate past comment.
Thank you very much. The issue of the international calendar, if you read I think even the resolution that led the change of calendar, those were not coined in a mandatory fashion. If they were mandatory, it means these fixes would have been uniform across the globe. But they are not. That's our neighbors here in Zimbabwe, they did it, they maintained. They maintained their own calendar. I remember what Scotland did came into of the season. When our season was already motion, looking at the friendlies, they wanted the friendlies against FC Musa, the Daros and the NAPSA. They played NAPSA too, and they said they were already in the season, and I think they beat NAPSA. also, historically, we have a serious challenge in the past when we were playing in the Caribbean. If we have any difficulties as regards the international arrangement, I do not think so, but maybe there was feel free to exercise the freedom of expression and debate. Obviously, Zambia reached the AFCON final 3 times under the old calendar, including the 2012 victory, it was under the old calendar. Our team, Ghana was known then by Netherlands Devils, We know their performance in the Continentals, they were always there. I don't know why they sometimes paid so much salary position. But our club used to do better at that time. Zesco United, as recent as 2007, only to knocked out by Kaiser Chiefs, it was under the old calendar. So really, both sides have got merits and demerits. But it's about where does the scale tip tie? Where does the scale tip tie? I adopted total the submission by the lady as my own when she says we still have an obligation to improve our infrastructure. That is a given. You can't even, it's not even a matter of debate. When they are playing in the dry season or rain season, we have to ensure that our infrastructure is playable. But there are many others. The rain season, if you go to us and get statistics, what is the rate? We want our teams to be also safe during rain season. When we have main accidents on our roads, during the dry season, the rain season. So there are many factors that you have to look at. But at the end of the day, the decision lies in the hands of the council. Obviously, people sometimes, that's why it's important to read and understand. Social media is always very hyper. People also saw this president is a liar. He promised that the season will be changed from the red season to the dry season, and he has not done it. And I've been consistent. It is not in my powers. I made a proposal, I was campaigning, and I've said, reading my manifesto, I said the decision lies in the hands of the president. And that is what the confusion is. So, for the powers, I think I thought I should clarify. It was not a mandatory arrangement. Even in some parts in Europe, including Eastern Europe, they are still under the old calendar. They don't follow this so-called international calendar that they talk about. If it was uniform, in conclusion, the whole world would have been playing in unison. But it's not mandatory. If it has broken, don't fix it.
So, monitor the four items, look at this one, monitor the levels in power. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Ndola, and God bless it for the right to the others. I just want to tie my contribution to the topic that is on the floor. Where is the debate or we are ready to disagree on the season change? Let us also attach. I was so glad to hear the deficit, the guaranteed incomes, and all sorts of things. This is coming from the mother body. I think it's West with clubs. We also need to, earn revenue. So as we change our calendars, I think the people that are in charge of our league calendar should also take into consideration. I'm glad my brother here mentioned to say they played a few minutes and then there was an interruption. The following day they came, the stadium was filled with the non-paying funds. So my proposal is also to request this meeting, this August House, that going forward, let us also consider, especially midweek games. We as clubs have not made money, especially this season. We've played so many midweek seasons. I'll give an example. I'm coming from a mining town. Our fans are miners. And the way miners operate, they cannot come to the stadium. Might has done so well. Each time we win, we want to celebrate, of course, have some liquor, dance. But the following day, they will go to the plant. They will be pressurized and others will lose jobs. So please, we seek that going forward, let a serious consideration. If clubs have to make money, we also have these serious deficits that were being displayed here. I think with clubs, it's even worse. Let us endeavor to also change our calendar to strict, our games to weekends. My submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President of the mighty Might, as well as saying might, I someone saying former. The might call your former. Red arrows. No, power diamond. You can agree, but respect the champions.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, matters Power appreciates the reason advanced and there are good reasons. But I think we must also think holistically. The change we are going to have will affect our two transfer windows. So the league will be recess, then you have a transfer window for 1 month, January to February. It's closed. Meaning we cannot release the players until we start the league in March. Then the other one will come when the league is very active, this is August, June to August, 2 months before the league. So we must think through those things. Additionally, the teams which will be continental, the league ends in December, they will be continuing playing the league. So they won't have a break and the league again starts. So those two reasons, I think we need to consider them as we transition to this calendar. We are not against the calendar, but I think we need to deal with this issue with submit.
Thank you very much. Red arrows. Oh, it's the same question. Was it? Huh? Same question. Go this side now. So implementation obviously is something that must be done at policy level, and of course all those things must be taken into account. If you have to ask FIFA to shift our windows, we will be able to do that. Those are consultations will be able to do. And also, we need to study how are the windows in the countries that are playing this season are going. So those are things, and this implementation will not be done until those things are sorted out. No. We haven't got to. The question was implementation. Yeah. Okay. The issue is okay. Yes, please.
My name is Chimana, Saka Province Youth Representative. I'm acting as chairperson for Saka.
Someone sit in front.
I wanted to find out if it's constitutional that we cannot have two calendars in the first place. Because my submission is that we can have the Super League teams. I don't even know why Super League teams with good budgets are complaining about 2 days or the extension of another day. You are well supported. I feel the budget should be the provincial leagues. Yeah? Because I feel that if it's not constitutional, I feel the Super League teams should remain in the same calendar, whereas provincial leagues, because we are highly hit, we are highly affected. Okay, you go to business where I come from in Lusaka. Surely it's all Lake Tanganyika when it is raining. But Super Leagues, Koroma Stadium is to play. It is to play. Even besides, this is where we need to invest in infrastructure building, because if there is no challenge, we will not even invest. And we are talking about the days, maybe extension of 1 or 2 days. It's normal for Super League teams. We are talking about football development, and football development calls for the right to play, especially at football level, youth football level. But you find that these provincial leagues, the games are being postponed and so on because of sale. Lastly, we also have an opportunity like when Koroma is not being used because they are on releases. So Division 1 Lusaka province teams, they'll be able to use that stadium, which will be very good as well. So I feel that if it's not constitutional, we can have the 2 calendars. I submit.
Thank you very much, Acting Chairman. And now we speak to the Vice Chairman. Yeah, so I think we May I have your attention? May I have your attention? I think we had mentioned the challenge of promotion, which I think okay, so one last, that's the last one.
My name is Sheba, Assistant Kafari, Eastern Province Secretary. And I just want to say, we all want to go back to the glory days where we used to see our national team perform better. And from the time we changed the calendar, I'm sure we are able to see the results. This is affecting the grassroots football. It's also affecting the opinion. It's not a one person affected or one group affected. For us as Eastern Province, we are badly affected because we have people who are coming from villages, and from the village setup, starting from kids, are farmers. And during the time that they are supposed to go for farming, and that's the time that we expect them to be playing football. And we have seen the reduction of competition because most of the times when games are supposed to be played, other players are at the farm. So when you look at even the performance of these provinces that are in farming, you look at even when they come for playoffs, their performance is bad. Because most of the times the competition is lower during the farming season. So for us as a province, Eastern Province, and speaking on behalf of other provinces as well, it's something that is going to improve our football, not only ZPL, but also as provincial teams. And also, rain season, that's the only time that we have to improve on our sports facilities and grounds. I don't see a ground that can do better when you are being watered, it's being watered at the same time you're playing from it. For instance, what we saw with the Cowboys, the ground. People were playing football, seconds later they are sweeping the water out of the pitch. Definitely, they are not only sweeping the water, our pitches are not to the international standards that we expect. Once they start removing the water, they are also removing the sand. The next thing, the pitch becomes steeper. So at least that transfer, the rain season period, we will improve our stadiums. Because we allow our stadiums to grow, the grass to grow naturally. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We need to move. Red Arrows have changed their mind. They've changed their mind again, so we can give them the right. Thank you so much. Can we, because we go on like that,
This is the last one, yes.
Red Arrows.
Thank you very much. As Red Arrows Football Club, we do appreciate and support the sentiments that have been presented on the floor over the change of calendar. However, what we've seen is that there are two things here. There is local football and there is also continental football. I do understand my colleague from Freela Wanderers, Mr. Mubamwina, spoke about the issues that they have to maintain the stadium in the rain season when the season is on. But we know, even now, he still has the belief that they can still play continental. So I will talk about continental football. Continental football, our colleagues here, we are just right behind them. Our Dynamos did very well. They were almost going to the quarterfinals. The question is, how did they achieve that? How I was able to camp in South Africa, where they were able to play other teams in South Africa that were preparing for the season. And that is where they got the momentum to play continental football, because they were exposed to other teams that were preparing for the season. So, even ourselves, Red Arrows, at one point we were able to participate in SECAF. At that time, we were able to play other teams that we were preparing for the seasons and continental. So we were able to get that exposure. So as we make this proposal, as Red Arrows will request that we look at this in 2 phases. Maybe we go phase 1. We change the calendar for the local, our provincial league. Then we sit down and see how best we are going to align the Super League and the National League calendar to the provincial ones. So that at this stage, we should be thinking of getting the 4 slots. So getting the 4 slots, how are we going to get the 4 slots? If our teams that are preparing for continental are not going to have the opportunity to play other teams in the region, in tournaments or friendly games. So I think we propose that we face this. We look at first the provincial leagues, maybe we adjust. We do see videos and pictures of the challenge that they have, and we do sympathize with them. But for the Super League, we propose as Red Arrows that we should maybe phase and see. First we start with the provincial leagues and then align later. Maybe we will look at this whole process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, yes. So please, we need to move, so 1, 2, 3 last. My name is Zafania Maza from the State University. First of all, for the proposed motion to say we suffer a lot in the province. We have talked about matches ending, coming from Northwest, and when it means to them, teams that have been there, they understand what I mean. But not just that, we have got bad roads. Some of our roads are not done, and a lot of accidents are happening, breakdowns. Our teams are not safe. Most of the time, they can't, transporters can't give the buses for a team to go to Kenya, for example. And you hear most of the time when they use that. Transporters are suspended, they are supposed to go to that part of the district. So for me, the change that we are looking for, this is the change that we want. Can we change the calendar so that we give time for our teams, they prepare quickly, so that it comes to competition, they compete at their level best. Thank you very much, Washington.
Thank you so much. Just Donald Moiwa is my name, Northern Province Youth Representative. I'm suggesting that since we have 2 sides, we can go for an election to vote for or against the motion. I submit. Thank you.
So, summarize this side.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Asher. I just wanted to quickly talk to this gentleman who mentioned cowardice earlier. So I thought I shouldn't just let this one pass. There is positive news that I would like to share with you. Number one, yes, we already have the impact on doing the water mitigation, where I think in the next couple of weeks or probably next couple of months or 2, we'll be able to invite all of you here to come through to Kamuwale Stadium and see what we've done. That will be a case study in terms of how you'll be able to avoid the water loss. So I just wanted to talk to that point. But in conclusion, I think the response is really overwhelming in terms of now moving the calendar from where it is to what everyone has proposed. And I think the critical submission is, I want to echo the lady here, to say much as we want to go out from the rains, I think we're already out from the rains. Let's ensure that we repair our infrastructure. So I just wanted to mention.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So I said everyone must speak. Now we are speaking with our hands. Those who did speak, your hands will speak. So we're now going to vote for this motion because you can't stay silent. So those who are saying we should change, let me see your hands. Change. We should change. We should change the system. It's not one thing we are changing. Where are they? You know, the counters, where are you? Rapporteurs, where are you counting? Okay. And those who are saying we should remain where we are, you answer. So that's a decision. It has been passed. So let's proceed. So I think in terms of implementation, that's a different stage. And I think we have to do a lot of, in terms of the transition and the implementation, we have to do a lot of work and find something that will fit this situation so that no one is inconvenienced. So let's go to the next proposal, change of number of teams from 18 to 20. But of course, even that must be. No, I haven't finished speaking. Why are the hands up? Why are the hands up? So there's a proposal to increase the number of teams in the league from 18 to 20. Mind you, Constitution stands at 18 minimum. Yeah, so the proposal is we go to 20, and the reason is very simple. In terms of the provision, there are leagues which are already at 20. But also, during the analysis, we thought that with 20, we align with some of the leagues that are doing well, and we can be able to tap from there to there. So, EXCO thought passed the resolution, which must come here for ratification. So again, we ask on the number of teams, are we ready to move to 20? Mr. Mula, let's start from that. Let me count this side.
Thank you so much, James. Thank you so much, James. The reason why you're seeing my hand up is because I've started speaking already. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, I think we've taken time to look at the rationale behind the proposal. And of course, this has been part of our plan that increase these numbers. So maybe next time we can have even 2 teams from Northern Province participate in the Premier League. I've taken time just to look at these recommendations, and I would love to just agree with the increase by agreeing with the proposal from the EXCO. Thank you, Jason.
So we are moving from there. You have spoken on behalf of the province. No, we'll come back. We'll come back. I'm just spreading the comments. I'm spreading the comments. We'll be back there. Don't worry. Let's move this side. Zanaco FC.
Yes, sir.
Can we pay attention? Zanaco is speaking. Zanaco is speaking. Let's pay attention.
Yes, Chair, we have started the proposal to increase the number of teams, but I think we have a few challenges in terms of what's happening. The first one, I think, relates to the quality of the league, the teams. We believe that if we have a smaller league, there will be improved quality, because already we are indicating that we only get 2 teams instead of the 4 teams. Now, in our view, I think it compromises the quality of the Premier League teams. And if we think that a smaller league will bring more competition and enhance quality, and like that the country will be able to compete even at continental level. The second one relates to the cost. Okay? So if we increase the teams to 20, we are saying we are moving from 34 games to 38 games. And from the budgetary point of view, I think most teams are struggling to fulfill even those 34 games. Okay, to fulfill them effectively. So from that perspective again, we think that it's not a good idea that we should increase the number of teams, and the 18 is okay. The other reason is the sponsorship money. Okay? We think that the fewer the teams, the bigger the share. Okay? Because I think the current allocation that we are getting in terms of sponsorship for the teams, they are really nothing right over that. Okay? So if that smaller cake is going to be shared by more teams, I think it will become easy. So on that basis, I think we will be reluctant to proceed with that.
One to put it on record that the increase is only by 2 teams. Don't understand. Don't understand. We pay attention to Total Stars, and her name is Sandy Naseko, the CEO for Total Stars. We know that the best teacher of football is football itself. We are competing internationally with the countries where they play more games than us. So I would expect us to have good players if you are playing lesser games. So, well done, Mr. President, for that that you are scared for the competition with you, but we are talking football now. So we are so excited where we are, and we are for the idea that we increase the number of teams in the league to 20, because it should give us 88 games, even if we don't participate in the cup games. We'll be able to afford them. Let our players. Thank you very much. Don't do us spoken. Madam, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masiko, Chairperson General of the Club. Mr. Kasiko, I choose to differ with you. As much as I heard here, they were saying, as a beneficiary of what's about to come. Okay. So for me, basically, what I wanted to pass a comment on was what was already said. For some of us, for self-sponsoring, apart from the help that we're receiving from new people. So it's a huge cost implication where we are already struggling to travel to other provinces to participate in these games and to reach a point where we're doing this on our own and we're not missing these matches. So to increase it by 2, I think would be a weight on our side. And also on the part of the competitive side, let's remain at 18 so that people strive more to improve the quality of the players they are getting to get into this league. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That hand there first. It came first. That hand. Yes, sir.
I've actually observed something because there are some teams from Super 8 who are
trying to claim us, they are going to benefit. So maybe the question I would like to pose, these two extra changes, where are they going to come? I may propose to say maybe the last top 4 games from the Super League, and maybe the 5th and 6th, they do the playoff, then we get the 2 for those 2 positions. I
Okay, so for implementation, that's for implementation. Yeah, so it's not what we are discussing. Mind you, what is constitutional is just the number of things. Implementation is policy. We can talk about it outside here. Which hand was that?
My name is Ndola Matan. I'm presenting the FC Leopards. So we have 2 submissions to make. First of all, we are in support that we should increase by 2 for 2 reasons. One, we feel that if we increase the number to 20, we are going to have a big pool, even for the national team to pick from, so that we tend to improve the national team. I think all of us here, we agree that the performance of the national team is not very impressive. The increase will bring about a bigger pool to pick from. That's one reason. The second reason is on the commercial side. For us, if we increase to 20, then it is more game takings for us. And we invest back the monies so that we travel around the country. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon once again. So I think the proposal here from Protea is an interesting proposal. But maybe we should also try to answer, what are we trying to do? What has been the problem with the DPP? Because years back, I remember sitting in a council like this, there was a study which was done that our league is very weak because of the number of teams to 20. We were here, we gathered to reduce the number to 18. Now, the question is, what is wrong with 18 and what are the challenges with 18? If we go to South Africa here, now with a very good league, 16 teams. We can also go to England, 20 teams. So it differs, but what are we trying to do and what is the challenge with 18, which we just went back to 18 teams, I think 4 or 5 years ago? That's the question we should try first.
Thank you very much. My name is Edmo Vita. And good afternoon, delegates to this meeting. The topic on the block, including the previous one, are not completely new. We have now the advantage of having been there, come out of there, and some extent maybe trying to get back there. So as we discuss this, we should discuss so that we are able to find a solution that will stand the test of time. Going back into history from where I remember, the first major restructuring was when we reduced the number of teams to 12. I don't know how many of us recall that. Maybe Mr. Smart will recall that, because he was among the proponents who did that. When the teams were reduced to 12, I don't know how many of us were there. They were reduced to 12. And what happened was, then I think by that time there were 20 teams. So they were reduced to 12, and then the rest were put into Division 1, which later was split now into North and South. Gradually, it was seen that we needed to increase the number of teams. So the increase started going from 12 to 22 to 14. Now, also, when that was happening, there were certain teams which were getting in danger of being demoted. and using very good reasons to go back to more teams. Some of the things, and I'll say, one. We also had one player was getting into trouble, and so on. So, as we look at this, also let's look that it is very clear that the move that we have been is not being done to save any team from being demoted. Because demotion is also good in one way, because it gives you the time to reorganize. So, we are not, as we do this, we should not have in mind that we are saving any team. We should not turn a 400-meter race into an 800-meter. That means what I'm saying. At the beginning of the race, you define the terms on which you are going to run. If you are going to run 400 meters, let it be 400 meters. Not that when you have run part of the 400 meters, then you change it into 800, and then you say, those who cross first at 400, they will be considered winners in the 400 race, and then we continue with the same to get to 800. So what am I saying? It is really good, and at some point I was thinking that, I had been thinking that we probably have complete the number of things to right? There are also very good reasons in terms of finances and also budgetary things. So even if we are to implement this kind of move, it should be done in a way that allows teams to readjust and assess their targets as well. And also, because teams depend on the sponsor, who have got, to a large extent, sometimes very tight and fixed budgets from which they are concerned. So, while we are looking at this, and I wanted to get to that, then we now came to the area topic which we discussed, and we have right decided that yes, there must be a change in this, and that's but we came from there. We used to play a certain season, and we went through, actually, I think at 2 different councils that came, and it was the finally, it got done. And then the movement was that we then had to go into provincial leads as well as the center. So, at the same time, there were also people who, some teams who had to sacrifice to be able to move. What we are doing now today is now we are looking back. So we have got a very good background and history to base our decision. So what has come, first of all, in terms of the structuring of the system, which has been agreed that it will have to be discussed and gradually. Then we have if I talk too much, So, as we look at this, we must be very, very careful and resolute so that we arrive at a decision that will wholeheartedly stand the test of time. Because now we have completed this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. A lot of wisdom. You can go ahead.
Thank you very much. As an Eric professor, I think one of it has exhausted almost everything to say. Professor, we support the move, we support the increase. But I'd also like to agree with Chair Zanako. This is really financial strength. And so my encouragement is Chair, there's one aspect that we keep in mind. I think this is about this is appreciated. You see, as clubs, we're spending a lot of money officiating. So now we are going 2 more games of spending with bad officiating. So as we are going into as I present the number, please, Mr. President, we really need to look at the officiating. It's really terrible. If you do the review, it's bad. So we are being strained, and I would also like to bring to light another thing. Money, we've not been paying money. So we are rushing into 20 games, but we're not being giving our money, but football is a business. So we need to make this money for us to keep playing the 48 games this season. So
thank you very much. Of course, we can't discuss money because it's not on the agenda. The constitution is very clear. Only what is on the agenda should be discussed. Excellent, thank you very much. We've made transaction dialogues.
Once again, Chair, I beg that we go for quality over quantity, sir. Right here, I think in 2019, when there was COVID, remember that the league was ended prematurely, 7 games remaining. As the councillors cried for more increase this season. But I think the resounding statement in that meeting was quality. And as we venture into commercialization of our league, clearly we really need quality. We cannot afford to increase numbers. Right now, sorry to say that we are not even handling the 18 teams adequately as we should. Disciplinary cases sometimes are late. Fixtures, sometimes we need to beg for them. So how do we even add to those numbers when we have existing problems we're willing to sort out? Can we go for quality, sir? Therefore, I clearly oppose this motion.
Thank you very much. Yeah, you can go ahead if you have the mic.
I stand here, sir. I'm not presenting Southern Province now as Vice Chair. I'm presenting this group. I'm the chairman for the 40. I stand presenting the 40. As you can see, when we voted for the motion you shall vote, I think we are the biggest number. And I stand here, sir. You said we are just increasing two things. Now, if you feel like increasing more, you are free to do so. But you have to request here, it has to be two numbers. I'm requesting chair. I think I'm here against and for. I'm requesting that we can now vote.
Hello. Let's. So there's a representative there, so you have to speak. You have spoken for you. So let's go. Let's go. Please go ahead.
My name is Matikani from United. My proposal is we can increase the teams for only transition when they make the normal teams. Like the CEO from Canada saying it will increase the budget implications and the competition will be very bad. For me, I propose we go for 20 just for transition and we 20 back and
For transition. Okay, okay, so please, I'm sure you are hungry. Also, let's move and conclude because we can't, if you go for lunch and come back and finish at 20 hours. So let's finish quickly and then go for lunch. We are reminded lunch is late. So we have discussed this. Let's vote. Let's vote. Those who are for 20. Those for 20. Okay, hands down. Those who are against 2018. Okay, 3 20 voting. Item number 14, next agenda item number 14. Item number 14, quickly. Number 14. Appointment of independent auditors upon the proposal of the executive committee. I will call upon Mr. Babiko to know this item with the auditor.
Right, good afternoon again. I'll ask our auditors, are they in or they out? They're out, all right. We bring to the House the current auditors to like to table their name. They are willing to continue on with the audit for 2026. Now, the question obviously will be, do they qualify under the current laws that we have? They do qualify. The current laws, Companies Act of 2025, November, does specify the period for external auditor, which has been extended to now 7 years. Someone who is the managing partner of the audit, they can continue on the audit for 7 years. After 7 years, that you can then win them off and appoint within the auditing firm, appoint or get new partners within the auditing firm. And if there are no partners qualified, then at that point, you can go to a different auditing firm. But the current auditors haven't audited for over 7 years and therefore still remain qualified to be reappointed. And therefore, President would like to, and the Auditor's House would like to bring their name for proposal for 2026 audit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, proposer. Proposer to maintain the auditors. Sure.
Chair, maybe we would like to know the number of years that the current auditor has served. Thank you.
How many years?
They have served for 4 years, 5 years. Huh? 2018. Thanks very much for the question. Yes, I've confirmed the former partner had audited from 2018 to 2024. The partner who has taken on now, the one who presented the financials, is just taken on, he's done the first year. The same company. Now, let me clarify again. What the law says with regard to the auditors, either the same firm, as long as the partners change. The idea behind it is the independency of the auditors. Because it's assumed that if the auditor continues on for much a longer time, his independence becomes compromised. So therefore, the law has recognized that 7 years must be sufficient for a partner to be to have saved enough, and he must be moved. So you can move the partner within the same auditing firm. What changes is a partner. Now, if the auditing firm does not have sufficient partners, let's suppose that it's EMM like my firm, and I'm the only character who is playing the game there. So once I have done for 7 years, at that point, I then become disqualified because I don't have another partner to take over from me. So my independence then becomes compromised and I must move on. So you can either do it with the same auditing firm as long as you have sufficient partners, or you move out of the firm if there aren't enough partners in the audit. I hope I've made that point clear. Yes, so this partner who has taken on now is just done 1 year, so it's got 6 more years to run with us. That is assuming the council agrees.
Can we have the mic? Mic this side. Mic this side.
The partner is in your right?
Yes.
But the auditors are not in your right? So, in this case, I suggest that the auditors are in the should go first. I submit.
Go ahead, sir.
Just in order to kind of I think we are talking about the principle. We are talking about the faith, what has to be. So the intent will change, but the organization still is. So for me, it's a change.
Chair, I think in addition to that, the guidance from Zika is that the partner and the firm cannot go for more than 7 years. So if the firm has aimed for 7 years, they can't go beyond that. I think that's the latest guidance from Zika. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we can proceed, isn't it? Let's vote.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Chair. Just a comment. We talked about the auditors, and I'm just being told that they did mention that they've served for 8 years. Just one advantage, I'm an accountant by profession, ACC, a chartered accountant. Firstly, my concern is with the clarification of how long they've been, was being taken here. Now, the clarification is done, meaning that disclosure wasn't done prior to this meeting. That's the huge concern. Secondly, I agree that each audit firm can stay for 10 years as long as one, the audit team is rotated, two, the audit partner changes, of which, if we're getting this information here, we're not sure that has been done. How do we know that that was done? So there's a lot of issues that are compromised in this situation. And I feel that you need to give us an opportunity to agree whether these people should go on or not. I submit.
And that's the opportunity we are giving. We are giving you that opportunity now. So that's the move. Yeah, so those who want the auditors to,
I think you've asked us to vote. We can only vote if there was a counter proposal, but none of us are saying mistakes. So,
not everyone has spoken. So for us to get a general consensus that other people have not spoken, they will speak through their hands. So those who are saying that the auditor must, sorry,
with your permission, I think this is slightly different. It's not a case of voting, it's a case of principle. I think the technical people have submitted that there are some lapses there. So voting really won't vote. We are looking at seeker requirement. And if we don't meet that requirement, then I think we need to make that decision. So it's not really a case of voting. Thank you.
So what do we do? Because look, there is no team of experts here. We are speaking as individuals.
Well, the option, first of all, let me make it clear. There's a comment about Zika. Someone commented about Zika. And I did say the Companies Act of 2025, November 2025, clearly specifies the auditing firm can continue on. The rotation of the partner is 7-year tenure, not 5 years. 5 years was in the old regime. The old Zika did specify the 5 years, but the new Companies Act of November 2025 has changed. Now it gives a 7-year tenure period. So that must be made quite very clear. Now, with regard to where do we go, with again the concern that have been raised on the fact that we should have made initial disclosures, where do we go from here? Now, we have two options, Chair. Option number one, either we support this motion. If we're not comfortable with the motion, again, it's our right. We can then, as the council, mandate the executive. We can give power to the executive in the course of the year to find another auditing firm and then appoint them. I mean, if that doesn't happen, unless you are thinking of another special meeting at which we can then specifically for the appointment of the auditors. Otherwise, we can give the mandate to the executive committee to go ahead and appoint the auditors for 1 year, and then you can review that at the next AGM. That's the mandate that we have in terms of the options. Thank you.
I think we have been guided. Because if you look at the item itself again, it says appointment of auditors upon proposal from where? It's, yeah, so we'll send it back to it. 15, dismissal of persons not applicable. 16, ratification of members of the judicial body is not applicable. Ratification 17.0, ratification of members of the electoral body not applicable. Ratification of members of the audit and compliance proposed by EXCO not applicable, they were ratified. Admission of members, and here we need to present the members that are being admitted, and these are Makeni Ostars. If you are here, you may rise. Makeni Ostars, are you here? So Locust, are you here? Locust are here. Road United, these are teams that were promoted to become council members. No, it's for last year. Remember, it's for last year. Where are they playing now? Where did they come from? Were they members at provincial? No, they have become members when they were promoted to the national league. And that were treated. Am I doing something wrong? Road United, Chipata City Council. We are also admitting provincial exco members who were elected during this period from Northwestern Province, women rep. You may stand. Stand, continue standing. Committee member. So as you are aware, the elections last year did not finish. We had some gaps, so we had to finish this year, and these are new members of the council. Vice chairman for Northern Province. So we do propose and second that to admit the clubs and these propose and second that please, so that they are admitted to the council.
As Charlie is wrong, vice chairperson, I propose that the clubs and the councillors be admitted.
Second down. I second. Thank you very much. Let's give them a clap of I'm thinking no one get what I said. But now admission of life members, not applicable, but we want to take this opportunity to recognize the life members that are present here. These are people who wait for this country, played for this country at that particular time, and we need to recognize them. So at this point, I'll just ask the life members to stand so that we recognize them. Mr. Gipo Chewe, played for Ndola United. I'm told he was called the Black what? Black Nigger. And that man you are seeing there was the number 10. There was no those things that he was number 10, the same position with Yuka, competing with Yuka Chitago. Sir Abraham Kole was the goalkeeper, national team goalkeeper. Mr. John Kaunda, JK. The goalkeepers, those two, I'm told they have a story to tell. The next one is Mr. Louis Shambulo. And they call him what? Kalulu. That's what they call him, Kalulu. And Mr. Johnston Katowando, another goalkeeper, 3 goalkeepers. Former national team goalkeepers. JK was telling me that he was his second choice. JK was first choice. Is that true, Agatwan? Who should tell? Yeah, and Pastor Peter Makembo, life member as well. and also Mr. Joe Kabika. Professor. So these are people who came to our country and we need to recognize them. Let's give them a hand of applause. We thank you for the service that you did for this country. We'll continue to respect. Thank you very much. Item number 21.0, any further item proposed by members of the Executive Committee of FAS, none. Item number 22.0, next annual general meeting to be advised. Item 23.0, not applicable. Item 24.0, President. Okay, I'm guided that I must have skipped something. Let me go back. Okay, so it's on admission of members that we want President wants to say. As you are aware, President offered an amnesty, so all those that were banned. Okay? But Council must ratify that everyone who was banned, their ban have been lifted. So we have in mind some big names. So we have in mind some big names which we can't to mention who were banned, but their bans have been lifted. Mr. Richard Kasara, Mr. Blackwell Siwa, Mr. Damiano Mutani, Mr. Elijah Shenko Chivesh, Mr. Augustine Mukok, Mr. Albert Maisa. So this amnesty is inclusive of everyone. There are a lot of people who were banned who we don't know about. But the goal is that whoever was banned should present themselves to us so that we can document the lifting of the bans so that they can come back. Who banned them? They were banned. So the council must ratify proposal to lift all bans. Thank you very much. Second, you can go ahead with if you have the mic.
My full names are Frederick Mandarian, Overbelt of Michigan. Before I second, it's just a comment. Please, as we lift your ban, do not rush to court. Let's resolve football issues in the ground. I propose. I support, I mean.
We need to put it on record that Mr. Mkandawe is arrested. Yeah. So before President comes to close, we had decided to bring the AGM into Ndola because of the APSA tomorrow. But I'm told maybe this is the first time we are holding AGM in Ndola. But Ndola, of course, is significant for our football. This is where we play our games. So it was fashionable also that we have our meeting here in Ndola. And also, Ndola is known as the town for the person who initiated, of course, I think Mr. Tom team came from Ndola, so it's a very important town. But of course, the life members will tell you that time Ndola was famous because of this area. Of course. Of course. So we have after tomorrow, you are all invited. Tickets will be sent to you. We don't do physical tickets anymore. We have advanced. So each one of you will receive an online ticket to watch the match tomorrow. President, to close the match.
We are coming to the close of the annual general meeting. I cannot have enough words, thank you enough for your participation. I hope, I always say I'm a Democrat, and I hope you have enjoyed the democratic space where you have exercised your freedom of expression in a democratic manner. I will continue encouraging all of us here that let us all be Democrats. Democracy thrives in the marketplace of ideas. You agree, you disagree, differences of opinion, you dialogue, and then you reach consensus. Football, by its very nature, is an emotive game. And so we understand that sometimes there may be occasion when tempers boil, but you must always do so within the democratic space. Most importantly, going forward, we gave ourselves a document, the supreme law, to govern the affairs of our football. And this is the Constitution, which is part of our football statutes. Of course, we have got many others, like the Code of Ethics, the Electoral Code, 21, the Disciplinary Code, the regulations on the citizen transfer of players, among others. All these are part of our football statutes. It is extremely important, dear councillors, extremely important. Let us resolve all football differences that Mr. Kandawili has submitted through the established channels. Then, also, those who are vested with the power, who have been given authority to preside over the affairs of the councillors. When the councillors have approached you and they want a solution, do not compound their problems. You must give them a listening ear. Leaders' doors must be open 24/7 because we are to provide a service to the people. A leader is a servant of the people. I'm giving this example because sometimes there have been complaints that people have approached, they have written to relevant bodies to be helped for a problem to be solved, but they have not been attended to. And then now they might end up using other unorthodox means. I want us to encourage ourselves that we stick to the provisions of the Constitution. Let us not take football disputes, the ordinary courts of law. The international precedents are abound, and I think FIFA itself does not at all allow taking disputes, ordinary courts of law. I think we have got a lot of precedents. We need to avoid a situation where sometimes, if we fail to put our house in order, we fail to resolve things ourselves, then you might invite FIFA to intervene, and FIFA can give a directive I do not want FIFA to give a directive to Football Association of Zambia to say Mr. XYZ or Club XYZ should be banned, because then once the directive comes from the World Mother Governing Body, it has to be implemented. We may have no choice but to simply agree to follow what FIFA would have directed. I think we have the capacity to resolve these difficulties amongst ourselves without even resorting to litigation. That is my humble plea. Another plea, it should not be lip service. We should not just be talking about loving each other as one united family. We must walk the talk. We must walk the talk. There must be genuine love amongst ourselves. There must be dialogue all the time. I'm very happy, and I wish to thank you all, dearest councillors, for ratifying the decision to lift the ban, the expulsion, the suspension of all those who were excluded from participating in the affairs of our football. This was one of the main topics during the campaigns, that we have to unite the football family. And you have exercised the power today, and please give yourself once again a round of applause. I'm very happy. But obviously, on a sad note, it came as a shock. We lost, I think it was already mentioned at the beginning. I'm saying it's a bit emotional to me because I was actually talking to Mr. Leonard Chilasa just as 2 hours ago. He was usually always in touch. And to learn yesterday that he was no more was something very, very shocking. And I think he was a friend to most of us here. We wish family sincere condolences, and indeed ourselves as a football family, sincere condolences. He was a man of football, dedicated commentator, went through hardships, but he loved football. And he saw rest in eternal peace. Having said that, I wish to conclude by encouraging all of us once again. Let us be democratic at every level. Let us uphold the principles of democracy. That is the only way our football will go back. And democracy is not just about form, it's also about content. We are a constitutional democracy. And democracy has got its own fundamental principles. We must uphold those principles. Rule of law, equality before the law, constitutionalism, freedom of expression, political tolerance. And political tolerance is very important. Why? Majority rule, but respect for the rights of the minority. Very important. We must stick to that. Guarantee of basic rights, social and economic pluralism, all these are fundamental principles of democracy. We can go on constitutional limits of government. Why do we say constitutional limits of government? We have a constitution that gives us the confines within which we have to operate. Let us adhere to that. It's the same way at the club level we are doing it. So let's take it to the higher level. Above all, when disputes arise, come together as one united football family and resolve differences in a democratic manner. Dialogue, dialogue, dialogue always works. I wish at this moment to once again encourage you to attend tomorrow's APSA Cup final between the Airmen Red Arrows and Power Dynamos Football Club. Let us enjoy the game, and may the better team carry the day tomorrow. And we want to see people shake hands after 90 minutes. Thank you very much. God bless you all. We love you.
Thank you very much, President. We've come to the end of the AGM. I will request that we stand as we do our closing prayer. But after that, we allow the high table to move. Our lunch is in the main restaurant. So the high table will move, followed by the 5 members, then we can all follow. So let me invite Pastor Makeko to come and close the prayer. We pray. My Father, we thank you that, Father, you have been with us from the start of this meeting to this very hour. Lord, Father, we thank you, Father, that the three beacons of love, peace, and unity has manifested upon this August house. Many thanks, Father, from the high table who have spoken through what you have prepared with them, that forgiveness is the way to go. And in this council, Father, they have just gone that way and have accepted to forgive one of their neighbors who had gone out of this house. Many thanks to you, Father, the way that you saw us coming upon this place. We ask you, O Lord, that you see us way back to our various places. We know that, Father, when we run out of our minds, we will normally seek your face. We normally seek your direction. And here we are. We asked for it, O Father, and you have given us what has been spoken upon this August house. We leave everything upon you. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Greet your neighbor. We are greet your neighbor. Greet your neighbor.